Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you're watching the Mojo Story. Now, we are continuously focusing on the developments in Pakistan. It was a day when vote or no confidence motion was supposed to take place, but that's not happened so far. Remember, it's just about half an hour left for the next day to start in Pakistan, but the voting has still not taken place. It all started in the morning when the speaker called the session on the insistence of the Supreme Court. The session was called. The Supreme Court had intervened, and it was expected that the vote will take place. A schedule was given by the Supreme Court to the speaker to conduct the parliamentary proceedings today, but through the day. There were speeches made by the members of the ruling party and the opposition, but no vote could take place. The opposition members were insisting that they want the voting to happen, but that did not happen. You can see from those pictures opposition members on their feet saying, vote, vote. They're demanding that voting must take place. Now, there have been a series of developments that have taken place over the last half an hour or so. Prime Minister Imran Khan held a cabinet meeting in which he sort of declassified that letter, which he has been raising since the beginning. He has been saying that it's a foreign conspiracy to topple his government. And now the letter has been sent to some of the prominent personalities, including the Speaker and the Chief Justice. Now, this letter, Imran Khan and his government says, is from US that has details on the vote of no confidence motion, and it says that if the vote of no confidence motion passes through and Imran Khan government falls, then it will be a smooth sailing for Pakistan. But if it does not and Imran Khan government does not fall, then Pakistan would have to face the repercussions. Now, Imran Khan has built this entire narrative around that letter. Now that this has been declassified, what is the motive behind that? The government must obviously be following some sort of a strategy. But Imran Khan, after that, held a short meeting with some journalists, and he told them that he's not going anywhere, and there is a international conspiracy that is there to topple him. So that's the situation on the ground. But interestingly, Supreme Court has opened its doors right in the middle of the night. So has the High Court in Islamabad. Now, remember that Supreme Court had passed those instructions for holding the session today, and if the session is not held, then Supreme Court, then it could be a contempt of court, and there could be implications for the speaker and other members perhaps as well. So that could be one of the reasons that Supreme Court has opened in the middle of the night. Chief Justice and other judges, according to media reports, have reached the Supreme Court. You can see from those pictures. There were also reports that perhaps Imran Khan would go to the parliament. He was not in the parliament through the day, but some of the journalists who had met Imran Khan a short while ago said that Imran Khan is not doing that. But what is the strategy of the government? It seemed clear through the day that the strategy of the government was to delay, to keep delaying the voting as much as possible, let the day pass, and that's exactly what has happened. But also the Supreme Court Bar Association has petitioned right in the middle of the night to the Supreme Court that the voting must take place as has been ordered by the Supreme Court. So we are waiting till 12 in the night when in Pakistan, which is obviously half an hour behind the Indian Standard Time, and then we'll have to see what the Supreme Court will do. Interestingly, it's now ended up as some sort of a tussle between two organs of the state. That's the Supreme Court and the Parliament. Through the day, the members of Imran Khan government were saying that Parliament is supreme, and Supreme Court has passed those lines and has intervened in the working of the Parliament. Now, remember, there's a background to all of this. On April 3rd, there was voting on the no confidence motion, but the deputy speaker clearly said that he disallowed the motion on the basis of Article 5. which was a point raised by Fawad Chaudhry, who's a minister in Imran Khan's government, and the motion was disallowed. Supreme Court took a suo motu notice of the case. They heard it on a day-to-day basis, and in the end, they reversed all the things, all the events that had taken place. The vote of no confidence motion had been disallowed. The assembly had been dissolved on the request of Imran Khan. He had advised the president to do that, and president had done that. Now all of that was reversed. Imran Khan, once again was the prime minister, and so his was his cabinet. Called his cabinet, and then again the proceedings took place today. All expectations were that the vote of no confidence will actually take place today, but that did not happen. You see on the screen Asad Kaisar, who is the speaker. A vote of no confidence has been passed against him also, but he conducted the proceedings. But the vote of no confidence was could not take place. Now, what's going to happen? There were many speculations making rounds. Some of the speculations were that Imran Khan could possibly sack the army chief, General Bajwa. But according to reports, the journalist who Imran Khan had met, he had told them that that's not the case. He's not going to do that. But Imran Khan clearly takes a stand here. He has, in fact, in his last speech, he has told his followers and supporters to come out and to protest peacefully on Sunday after the Isha prayers. So clearly, Imran Khan is making a direct contact with the people and going about with this narrative that there is a foreign conspiracy that's out to topple his government, of course, with the collaboration of the local politicians and local leaders of Pakistan. He's saying that all of them have come together, some of them intentionally, some of them unintentionally, not knowing that there is a foreign conspiracy behind it, and they are there to topple his government. Initially, he had called a big public gathering in Islamabad. He took a verse from the Quran and he made the theme of that rally according to that verse, Amar bil Maruf wa Nahi Anil Munkar, which means that you stand with the truth and you stand against injustice. Now, Imran Khan, in that rally, dramatically took a piece of paper and waved it to the people, and he said that here I have got in this paper there are details how this foreign power was working to dislodge him. He didn't name the country at that point in time. He said, of course, he can't name the country, but he indicated that there was a foreign force which was out to topple him. But the opposition party said that is just a bluff. There's nothing like that. There's no letter. But later, in subsequently, Imran Khan, in one of his speech, another speech, which he did live, he did not record that, probably for this particular reason that he wanted to name the country. And he, in fact, named that country. He said it's America. And subsequently, later, he told in another of his speech, he named the official even. He said Donald Lu is the official who had, in fact, threatened to topple Imran Khan government. So there was this series of events. The opposition all along saying that they are not a party to all of this. They don't know about this. They just come together to push for this vote of no confidence motion to bring down Imran Khan government and to make their own government. Now, interestingly, the opposition has all along been saying that there should be fresh elections in Pakistan. Now, Imran Khan had created that space. He had dissolved the assembly, but then the opposition's now insisting that they would want to have their own government in Pakistan for a few months. Now, Imran Khan says that there is a motive behind it. The motive obviously is, according to Imran Khan, that they want the NAB, that's the National Accountability Bureau of Pakistan, to be disbanded. They want their cases to be withdrawn, cases against their prominent leaders like Shehbaz Sharif, Nawaz Sharif, and others. And also, they want the reversal of the EVM, that's the voting process that was introduced by Imran Khan, and voting rights for overseas Pakistanis. Now, all these things, Imran Khan says that they would do all of them and then they would go to the people for elections. But clearly, it's a dramatic development that's taking place in Pakistan right in the middle of the night. People are following this blow by blow, step by step. What's going to happen? Nobody knows. Opposition really interested in the vote on no confidence, but the government is not giving that opportunity. So far, the speaker has not given them that opportunity. That's really frustrated the opposition parties. In fact, they stood up and they really requested the speaker to go ahead and to order the vote on the motion, but the speaker did not do that, and in fact they went on to tell the speaker that you are doing a contempt. We can use Bilawal Bhutto Bite, who in fact clearly told the speaker that you are not following the Supreme Court instructions and you are in contempt of the court. If you can play that bite of Bilawal Bhutto.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। जनाब स्पीकर, आप इस वक्त ना सिर्फ तौहीन अदालत कर रहे हो, मगर आइन शिकनी भी बेखुद मुलव्वस हो रहे हो। अदालत ने 5 रुकनी बेंच ने ऑर्डर सुनाया और आज हमने इसी ऑर्डर ऑफ द डे के अलावा किसी एजेंडा आइटम को आप नहीं उठा सकते थे, मगर ना सिर्फ आपने ये किया, मगर आपसे पहले स्पीकर साहब से किया। 3 अप्रैल पे इनके वजीर ने सिर्फ वजीर आजम पाकिस्तान, सदर पाकिस्तान और डेप्यूटी स्पीकर में को आइन शिकनी में फंसा दिया था। आज का ये कोशिश की वजह से ना सिर्फ वो लोग, मगर स्पीकर नेशनल असेंबली और आप खुद इन जराइम में आप मुलव्वस हो। मैं आपसे मैं मुकम्मल करूंगा।
बिलावल भुट्टो साहब,
आपसे मुतालबा करता हूं,
कोर्ट का एहतराम हम पे लाजिम है, लेकिन कोर्ट पार्लियामेंट के डोमेन में इंटरवीन नहीं कर सकता और पार्लियामेंट कोर्ट
माजी में
डोमेन में इंटरवीन नहीं कर सकता। एजेंडा जो है वो बेसिकली स्पीकर का और नेशनल असेंबली का गवर्नमेंट का होता है, लेकिन हमने ट्रू स्पीड के साथ इसको माना है।
ये फैसला किया, आपको पाबंद किया और आप तौहीन अदालत करते हुए खुद भी नाअहल होंगे। ये पाकिस्तान की तारीख में पहली बार नहीं है कि स्पीकर का रूलिंग को अदालत ने बाहर फेंका है। आपसे पहले भी एक स्पीकर साहिबा उसी कुर्सी पर बैठी थी, उसने एक फैसला सुनाया और आज खुद नोटिस लेते हुए उस फैसला को साइड कर दिया। एक बार फिर ये हिदायत आया है, ये हुक्म आया है, अदालत ने ये फैसला सुना दिया है कि आपने आज 3 अप्रैल का कार्रवाई मुकम्मल करना है, वोटिंग करना है। आपका कप्तान भाग रहा है, भागते भागते तौहीन अदालत कर रहा है, भागते भागते आइन शिकनी कर रहे हैं।
Now there are reports that Speaker and Deputy Speaker Asad Kaisar and Qasim Suri have resigned, and there are also reports from Pakistan that an alert has been issued at all airports. No senior state functionary or government official is to leave the country without an NOC. And according to one of the journalists, prisoner van has reached the Parliament House in Islamabad. You can see from those visuals, quite dramatic visuals there. All through the day, there were these developments taking place. There were speeches and from the Treasury bench and other from the opposition happening through the day, but the voting did not take place. Now, in a dramatic turn of events, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker have resigned. Imran Khan didn't go to the Parliament, so clearly Imran Khan had a plan. It is clearly a sort of clash between the Supreme Court and the Parliament. Now, Supreme Court is interfering in parliamentary procedure. That's what Asad Kaisar had earlier said. Now we can switch over. We can see live visuals and details. If we can switch to that TV outlet.
जरूरत है कि हम अपने मुल्क की खुददारी के लिए खड़े हों। सबको जो है ना खड़ा होना पड़ेगा। मैं आज ये फैसला करता हूं और मैंने फैसला किया है कि मैं स्पीकर के ओहदे पे मजीद नहीं रह सकता और मैं अपने ओहदे से इस्तीफा देता हूं मैंने अपनी जिंदगी का बहुत लंबा अरसा अपने लीडर इमरान खान के साथ गुजारा। 26 साल से मैं उसके साथ रहा। मैं स्टूडेंट लाइफ से, जब मैं स्टूडेंट था उस वक्त मैंने तहरीक इंसाफ ज्वाइन की, और उस वक्त जब मैं शौकत खानम कैंपेन चली थी मैं उस वक्त उसके साथ था। मैं चूंकि इस वक्त एक कौमी फरीजा है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट का एक फैसला है, इसको मनोअन तस्लीम करते हुए उसकी जो प्रोसीजर है उसको आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं जो पैनल ऑफ चेयरमैन है आया सादिक साहब, वो बाकी इजलास वो चलाएगा और जो इसकी लीगल वो उसके मुताबिक करेगा। लेकिन मैं एक बात बिल्कुल अहम इस वक्त ये बात मैं बिल्कुल वाज़ेह करना चाहता हूं। सबसे पहले हमारे लिए मुल्क है, पाकिस्तान है। हमने अपने मुल्क का सोचना है, अपने पाकिस्तान का सोचना है। और यहाँ इस वक्त जो खान साहब ने जो स्टैंड लिया हुआ है वो इस मुल्क की खुददारी और इस मुल्क की जरूरत है कि हम आप एक आजाद कौम की हैसियत से अपने आप को खड़ा कर सके, एक आजादी और खुददार पाकिस्तानी की हैसियत से हम अपनी जिंदगी कर। मैं आया सादिक साहब से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो आए और बाकी जो लीगल प्रोसीजर है वो पूरा करें।
Resignation, and he has invited
जी इस
a
वक्त
member. The Asad Kaisar has tendered his resignation. In his brief address, he said that he's been with Imran Khan for a pretty long time, and now it's time for him to tender his resignation. Now we got a new speaker in his place. Obviously, he will conduct the polling, voting. That's what's going to happen now. So perhaps the voting will take place now, and then the vote of no confidence motion will be completed. But clearly, the plan here was that through the day, there were speeches that were made. The new speaker, of course, from the opposition party, so he will order the voting, and that will be the end of the Imran Khan government. Sardar Ayaz Sadiq is now conducting the proceedings. The speaker, Asad Kaisar, has resigned. Again, as I was pointing out earlier, he indicated that he talked about the parliamentary supremacy. So those are dramatic developments, dramatic scenes that one can see that's taking place in Pakistan. Asad Kaisar being moved out, and now the new speaker is conducting the proceedings, and you can see the opposition member thumping the desk, and obviously now the road is clear for them for the voting to take place.
Voting on the resolution
now
against the Prime Minister as set out in the second schedule of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the National Assembly 2007. Before voting commences, I shall direct that the bells be rung for 5 minutes to enable members not present in the chambers to be present there. Immediately after the bells stop ringing, all the entrances to the lobbies shall be locked, and assembly staff posted at each entrance shall not allow any entry or exit through those entrances until the voting has concluded. I shall then read out the resolution before the assembly and ask the members who wish to vote in favor of the resolution to pass in single file through the entrance where tellers shall be posted to record the votes. On reaching the desk of the tellers, each member shall in turn call out the division number allotted to him under the rules, him or her under the rules. The teller shall then mark off the number on the division list, simultaneously calling out names of the member. In order to ensure that his vote has been properly recorded, the member shall not move off until he has clearly heard the teller call out his name. After a member has recorded his vote, he shall not return to the chamber until bells are again rung. When all members who wish to vote have recorded their votes, I shall announce that the voting has concluded. Thereupon, the Secretary shall cause the division list to be collected, count the recorded votes, and present the result to the count to me. I will then direct that the bells be rung for 2 minutes to enable members to return to the chamber. After the bells stop ringing, I shall announce the result to the Assembly. Now we are going to start the process. Bells bajaiye for 5 minutes. Bells bajaiye.
So you can see those developments taking place in the National Assembly of Pakistan. Now the voting will take place. Obviously, it had to happen by 12 in the night, and I think it will happen by that time. But clearly, Imran Khan here trying to put across a point that he or his party or the speakers from his party are not involved in this process. It's the speaker of the opposition now who's conducting the proceedings. Imran Khan had already said yesterday in his speech, in his address to his country, that he will not accept an imported government. That's the term that he had used. Now, interestingly, the opposition parties had been calling him selected prime minister and selected government, but Imran Khan, saying that they are an imported government. He has now given a call to all his supporters and people to come out on the roads after the prayers, Isha prayers on Sunday, so that he says that he will participate with them in to fight against what he calls a foreign conspiracy to topple his government. But for now, the news is that Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Pakistani National Assembly have tendered their resignation, and now there is a new speaker in place who is conducting the proceedings, and the proceedings have started. 5 minutes break has been given. The bell has been rung for people to come to the parliament. This is the prisoner van outside the Parliament House, the Islamabad police there. So clearly, it was a very tense night in Islamabad. There were a series of developments. There was also a buzz that perhaps Imran Khan has sacked the army chief. There's a notice at all the airports to prevent people from leaving. All that was happening in Pakistan. Imran Khan called a cabinet meeting, and then he spoke to a group of journalists. Imran Khan didn't go to the parliament today, but now the voting is taking place. Voting for no confidence motion is taking place. It has been brought by a joint opposition party. Some of the allies of Imran Khan who had parted ways with the government have joined the opposition party. But more importantly, there were some defectors in his party who have come out and who are openly supporting the opposition in this no confidence motion. Now, those defectors there was a lot of buzz that there had been defections, but they were found in the Sindh House in Islamabad. And remember, Sindh is a province in Pakistan that's ruled by the PPP, and then it became clear that Imran Khan didn't have the numbers, and that made it even easier for the allies to leave him and to join the opposition party. So clearly, we're seeing here that uh, the voting has indeed happened on the day when it was directed by the Supreme Court. But Imran Khan putting across a point that he's not involved in the process. The Speaker and Deputy Speaker have tendered a resignation. So he is in fact disassociated himself and his party from these proceedings. But clearly, it's very clear that Imran Khan will take his case to the people now. He's already built a narrative, and he is now going already doing his preparation for the next election. So this is the situation in Pakistan. 5 minutes have been given for the members to assemble, and then afterwards there will be voting. There's a political crisis in Pakistan. It's not over just yet. The voting will not end. This, of course, it will be the end of the Imran Khan government. The new government led by Shehbaz Sharif will take its place, but But what will Imran Khan do? Obviously, he's made it clear that he will go to the people. The opposition has a tough task on the hand. Now they've got a country which where economy is in a dire situation. There are there are a lot of problems of inflation, price rise. Those are the real issues that opposition will be dealing with. Clearly, they will have to give some sort of a relief to the people. Now, Imran Khan has already branded them and labeled them as the ones who have been a part of a foreign conspiracy. But the real issues remain. The real issues which had plagued Imran Khan's government for all these years, and everybody hit out at Imran Khan for the price rise and inflation there. But lately, he has changed the narrative and he has really focused on the issue of this alleged foreign conspiracy. If we can raise the volume and see what's happening there.
जी entrances lock कीजिए. All the entrances to the lobby and to the hall be locked, please. करने दो. 57 हो गए ना? हाँ, नहीं lobbies नहीं होगी. क्या चीज?
There's just a few minutes left for the voting. Obviously, it will be clear in just a few minutes that how many votes the opposition parties is still in opposition. They will get.
और हम 2 मिनट के लिए एडजर्न करेंगे बिकॉज अ न्यू डे स्टार्ट्स. तो इसलिए हम वोटिंग शुरू करा के एडजर्न कर सकते हैं या हम पहले एडजर्न करके और फिर वोटिंग शुरू करा. So as per the Supreme Court order, as I can see the sense of the House, we'll start the voting now. So now I read out the resolution before the Assembly. Through this resolution under Clause 1 of Article 95 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, this House resolves that it has no confidence in the Prime Minister, Mr. Imran Khan, and consequently he should cease to hold office under Clause 4 ibid. Now I request the members who wish to vote in favor of the resolution be moved, may say aye on the, and move to the lobby on my left side. You will move on the lobby on the left side which says ayes. And if there's anybody who wants to vote the other lobby, please, if you start moving.
प्रोसेस को थोड़ी देर के लिए रोकने में अर्जन कर रहा हूँ, उसके बाद शुरू करें. हाँ
जी, मैं प्रोसेस को 1 मिनट के लिए रोक रहा हूँ. The House is adjourned to meet again on Sunday, 10th April 2022 at 12:02 AM. That means 12:02 तक के लिए adjourn कर रहे हैं.
Has been adjourned. The voting process did start as was directed by the Supreme Court on the due date, but the House has been adjourned. So tomorrow, the rest of the process will be completed, the counting of the votes, and remember, it's 172 votes which are needed for to show the majority in the House. So things seem to have cleared for Shehbaz Sharif to become the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. Now, he is the joint candidate that has been nominated by the opposition parties for the position of Prime Minister. Now, remember, there are many cases on Shehbaz Sharif also And Imran Khan would say that he's already facing so many cases. How can he be the prime minister? But those cases will continue in the courts, and he's out on bail. But for now, the road is clear for Shehbaz Sharif to be the next prime minister of Pakistan after Imran Khan. Of course, elections are just 1.5 years away, so it will be a short term if at all he completes, and then there'll be a caretaker prime minister also, and then obviously then there'll be fresh elections. But now we'll have to see how will Imran Khan take this narrative of foreign conspiracy forward, and will there be any more discussion on that, and what is really the opposition parties which will now form the government, the next government, going to do? What are its priorities going to be like? Shehbaz Sharif had said earlier that he would want a unity government minus Imran Khan. And now, clearly, there are all the parties who are in the government except for Imran Khan's party. There are also defectors of the Imran Khan's party which are a part of the new government. So there are a lot of challenge for Shehbaz Sharif. He will have to deal with so many parties which have a divergent view. PPP, which has been its main opponent for all these years, now its partner, and other parties. So clearly, it's not going to be so easy for Shehbaz Sharif, and also given the fact that economy is in a very difficult situation. The dollar compared to rupee is falling day by day. So that's the situation on the ground. Price rise and inflation, and now Imran Khan is out of picture. Clearly, uh, he said that he will not accept this imported government. What he has made his intentions clear, that he's going to go to the people and then take this narrative of a foreign conspiracy and build his politics around that. But what is the new government going to do? Their main aim was to dislodge Imran Khan, but the real challenge begins here on. What are they going to do after this? They have succeeded in their mission to dislodge Imran Khan government, to remove him. But what are they going to do here on? That was one uniting factor for all the opposition parties. But what are they going to also remember? They have a slim majority, because all those members who are the defectors, they will obviously they will be defeated, because that may take a few months, but they will be defeated, and then they will have a thin majority. It's not that they come with a huge strength, even if the defectors vote for them. So it's not going to be so easy for them. So again, uh, the the proceedings are going on. It's a big day. It's a big victory for Pakistan People's Party, led by Zardari and Bilawal Bhutto and Shehbaz Sharif, Nawaz Sharif's brother, Muslim League Nawaz. But also, will now this also pave way for Nawaz Sharif to return to Pakistan? That's the big question being asked. Remember, Nawaz Sharif had made an excuse to leave Pakistan for medical treatment, and he is in London for all these months. Now, his brother, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and his party in power. So clearly, this will probably make way for Nawaz Sharif to return. And also, Nawaz Sharif has been banned from taking part in elections for life term. So there was the Imran Khan party has been saying that they could also make an amendment. They could uh, make some sort of a parliamentary intervention to uh, to bring him back into politics. Now that will be a big boost for his party, but clearly the politics in Pakistan seeing dramatic twists and turns over all these days, and today it reached to its climax when we saw those fast-paced developments taking place it was not clear whether the voting will take place or not. The doors of the gates of Supreme Court and High Court had opened right in the middle of the night. It seemed that the government was not going for voting, and there would be a contempt of court, and that would invoke action from the court. But that did not happen. They waited till the last moment, and then, in a dramatic turn of events, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker tendered their resignation, and that paved way for a speaker from the opposition party to take over the proceedings and conduct the voting. Now the voting has been conducted, and in a matter of few minutes, there will be results that will be out, and that will be a huge victory for Nawaz Sharif and Pakistan People's Party. Earlier, we heard Imran Khan, who had said that there is a foreign conspiracy. If we have that soundbite and we can play that.
तो मैं अपनी कौम को आखिर में मेरी ज़िंदगी स्ट्रगल है. किसी ने इतनी लंबी स्ट्रगल नहीं की कि किसी ने 22 साल अपनी ज़िंदगी के नहीं गुजारे स्ट्रगल करके आखिर में कामयाब होना. तो मैं तो स्ट्रगल के ऊपर यूज्ड हूँ. मैं तो अब एक स्ट्रगल के लिए तैयार हो गया. मैंने तो अब पब्लिक में निकलना है और मैंने स्ट्रगल करनी है. मैं आज अपनी सारी कौम को कह रहा हूँ, ये इम्पोर्टेड हुकूमत जो लाने की कोशिश हो रही है, परसों संडे को आपने सब ने इशा के बाद आपने सब ने निकलना है और एक जिंदा कौम की तरह एहतजाज करना है, पुरअमन एहतजाज करना है. मैं फिर से कहता हूँ, कभी भी आपने एहतजाज पे तोड़ फोड़ और कुछ तसादम नहीं करना, पुरअमन एहतजाज. लेकिन आपने बताना है कि देखिए, आपने अपनी फ्यूचर को की हिफाजत करनी है. आपने अपनी जमहूरियत, अपनी सॉवरेंटी की हिफाजत करनी है, अपनी आज़ादी की हिफाजत करनी है. ये जो बाहर से इंपोर्ट करके साजिश करके और ज़मीर ख़रीद के ये ड्रामा जो हो रहा है, आपने इसकी प्रोटेस्ट करना है. ये आपका फ़र्ज़ है. एक ज़िंदा कौम अमर बिल मारूफ पे खड़ी होती है, उससे कौम एक ज़िंदा कौम का पता चलता है लोगों को. और मैं ये भी कह दूँ आखिर में कि जो तारीख़ है वो कभी किसी को माफ़ नहीं करती. कौन क्या रोल प्ले कर रहा है, तारीख़ में हमेशा ये चीज़ें सामने आ जाती हैं. कौन से सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फ़ैसले अच्छे और कौन से इस मुल्क के लिए नुकसानदेह, ये सारी आप तारीख़ उठा के देख लें, सामने आ जाती. तारीख़ कभी किसी को माफ़ नहीं करती. लेकिन एक ज़िंदा कौम हमेशा अपने हकूक़ के लिए खड़ी होती है. और हमेशा आपकी सबसे बड़ी कि आपने ये ग़ुलामी नहीं कबूल करनी. एक आज़ाद कौम की तरह आपने खड़े होना है. इय्याका नअबुदु व इय्याका नस्तईन, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, कोई खुदा नहीं अल्लाह के सिवा. ये नारों पे पाकिस्तान बना था. इसके लिए कुर्बानियाँ दी थी लोगों ने. इसलिए कुर्बानियाँ नहीं दी थी कि कोई बाहर से आके इम्पोर्टेड गवर्नमेंट ऊपर बैठा दे और हम चुप करके तमाशा देखते रहे. ये इसलिए नहीं लोगों को, इसलिए वो हिंदुस्तान में जो बेचारे मुसलमानों के ऊपर आजकल इतने बुरे हालात हैं, वो उन्होंने भी वोट दी थी पाकिस्तान के लिए. उन्होंने इसलिए नहीं दी थी कि हम आके एक क्या इम्पोर्टेड गवर्नमेंट के नीचे हम बैठ जाएं और हम जी हुजूरी करें और हम कहें जी हम तो बेगर्स आर नॉट चूजर्स. इसलिए नहीं पाकिस्तान बना था. तो आपने वो पाकिस्तान की ख्वाब के लिए परसों सब ने आपने निकलना है. इशा के बाद पुरअमन एहतजाज करना है. और मैं अब आपके साथ हूँगा. मैं आपके साथ पूरी स्ट्रगल करूँगा. मैं किसी सूरत तस्लीम नहीं करूँगा कि किसी किस्म की इम्पोर्टेड गवर्नमेंट इसके ऊपर, इस मुल्क के ऊपर मुसल्लत की जाए.
So that was Imran Khan last night. Now that voting has happened, the members are there in the house, and it's just a matter of a few minutes. The results will be declared. So clearly, that's the situation there. But now the real test for Imran Khan and his rivals will begin here on. How are they going to take their narratives forward? That's very important. But what looked very clear that Imran Khan had perhaps fallen with the establishment lately, and that's one of the reasons that he could not really secure his seat as the prime minister. He could not continue with that, the opposition had always been saying that they are neutral, and they are not supporting Imran Khan, neither are they supporting his opponents. And in one of the speech, in fact, Imran Khan said that only animals are neutral. Now he was indirectly hinting perhaps at the establishment. So clearly there was some sort of a rift between Imran Khan and the establishment. Some say it all started after the Taliban took over Afghanistan, and the DGISI at that time, General Faz, went to Afghanistan, and then Imran Khan was insisting that he should be retained as the DGISI, but General Bajwa, the army chief, wanted to move him to Peshawar as a corps commander, and that really started the friction between Imran Khan and the army. So now let's see what's happening in the house. If you can increase the volume. Okay, it seems that the national anthem is playing because uh, all the members are standing, and they're raising slogans. So that is the situation. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I wish to move under Rule 288 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the National Assembly 2007 that the requirements of Rules 51, 69, and 88 of the said rules in respect of question hour, calling attention notices and private members' business to be transacted during the current session may be suspended.
The question is that the motion has moved be adopted. All those in favor of the motion may say aye.
Aye.
All those against it may say no. I think ayes have it, and consequently the motion is adopted. Kindly commence voting, please.
So that's the voting that's happening. So that's the voting that's taking place in the National Assembly of Pakistan. The motion was adopted, and now voting is taking place. The votes will be counted, and then it's 172 is the number that is needed to show your strength in the House, and obviously the all these parties, they're comfortable. The opposition members, they're comfortable with that number. They have the numbers. Imran Khan's allies, your partners, had also left him, and they joined the opposition party, and some of his own members had defected. Now, in Pakistan, they have coined an interesting term. They call them lotas or lotocracy. Imran Khan has been saying that all these people were offered money, and it's that they had taken money, and that's the reason that they had defected. The opposition parties had said that no, money was not given. Of course, they said that they had promised them tickets for the elections, next elections. So clearly, these are dramatic developments that are taking place in the Pakistani National Assembly. The voting finally taking place. Now, it seemed that voting is not going to happen. Just half an hour ago, it seemed that there would be no voting. The doors of Supreme Court and High Court were opened. Clearly, it seemed that there would be contempt proceedings if the voting won't happen. The Supreme Court had clearly told the parliament to conduct the voting after the motion was disallowed on April 3. Now, that was Imran Khan had all along been saying that he has a surprise, and he will show his surprise to the opposition before the voting. And when that day came, indeed, Imran Khan had a surprise. The motion was disallowed by the Deputy Speaker after Fawad Chaudhry, one of the ministers of Imran Khan government, invoked Article 5 of the Constitution. But then the case went to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court passed its judgment. It gave a date, and it gave the timing as well, and when the session had to be called, and it had made it time bound for the speaker to conduct the voting. But through the day there was no voting. It was just members who were standing up and making speeches from both from the Treasury bench and the opposition. So it seemed that there would be no voting, but in the end, the resignation of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker paved way for a new Speaker to conduct the proceedings and to carry forward the voting process. So now the voting has taken place, but of course, this will be a big challenge for all these parties to run a coalition government. Shehbaz Sharif is known to be conciliatory in nature, but of course, it will be a big challenge for him. Obviously, Imran Khan has made his stand very clear. He's going again going to the people. But all along, Imran Khan had told reporters who were reporting the story from Pakistan that he's not going to speak against the army or the institutions of the state. In his last speech, he said that he's sad by the judgment of the Supreme Court, but he will accept the judgment of the Supreme Court, and indeed that's what has happened. Although uh, he's worn down the opposition today whole day. It was happening. There were speeches taking place, and uh, now now the voting is finally uh, uh, taking place. Uh, so uh, mm, we can use Imran Khan's soundbite on the Supreme Court verdict, what he said last night.
जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला आया, मायूसी हुई मुझे, लेकिन मैं ये वाज़ेह कर दूं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट और पाकिस्तान की अदलिया की मैं इज़्ज़त करता हूँ. मैंने एक ही दफ़ा जेल गुजारी है, और वो आज़ाद अदलिया की तहरीक के अंदर मैं जेल में गया, क्योंकि ये मेरा ईमान है कि जब तक एक मुल्क के अंदर इंसाफ नहीं होता, कोई भी महज़ब माशरा, उसकी बुनियाद इंसाफ पे होती है, और जो इंसाफ के गार्डियन होते हैं वो आपकी अदलिया होती है. तो मैं ये कहते हुए मुझे अफसोस हुआ, और अफसोस क्यों हुआ मैं ये अपनी कौम के सामने वाज़ेह कर दूं. जो भी अदलिया का फ़ैसला हम एक्सेप्ट करते हैं. अफसोस इसलिए हुआ कि जो डिप्टी स्पीकर ने जो असेंबली प्रोग की थी, उसकी वजह क्या थी? उसकी वजह ये थी आर्टिकल 5, यानी कि बैरूनी मुदाखलत हुई थी पाकिस्तान के अदम एतमाद पे. तो मैं ये चाहता था कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट कम से कम इसको देखता तो सही. ये बड़ा सीरियस इल्ज़ाम है कि एक बाहर से मुल्क आपके अंदर एक पूरी साजिश करके एक गवर्नमेंट को उसके खिलाफ साजिश करके उसको गिराता है. तो इसके ये इतना सीरियस एलिगेशन थी कि मैं चाहता था कि इसकी कोई प्रोब हो. कम से कम सुप्रीम कोर्ट वो जो मुरासला है, जो डॉक्यूमेंट है, कम से कम उसको बुला के देख तो लेता कि क्या ये जो हम कह रहे हैं कि इतनी बड़ी साजिश है और रिजीम चेंज की कोशिश है, क्या हम सच बोल रहे हैं या नहीं बोल रहे हैं. तो मुझे थोड़ी सी मायूसी हुई, क्योंकि ये इतना बड़ा इशू है और इसके ऊपर कोई सुप्रीम कोर्ट में बात नहीं हुई. और दूसरा मुझे अफसोस ये हुआ कि उतनी जल्दी जितना फैसला आया, जो 63A, यानी कि जो खुलेआम हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग हो रही है, पॉलिटिशियंस के ज़मीर खरीदे जा रहे हैं, भेड़ बकरियों की तरह उनको बंद किया जा रहा है होटल्स में, और उनकी कीमतें लगाई जा रही हैं. सोशल मीडिया का ज़माना है. बच्चे को पता है अब किस कीमत के ऊपर अपने ज़मीर बेच रहे हैं. कौन सी जमहूरियत है ये? कौन सी दुनिया की जमहूरियत में इस चीज़ की इजाज़त दी जाती है? और जो सबसे बड़ा इंसाफ का फोरम है अदलिया, उससे हम एक्सपेक्ट करते थे कि कम से कम इसके ऊपर और कुछ नहीं तो सो मोटो एक्शन ले, क्योंकि ये तो एक मजाक बन गया है पाकिस्तान की डेमोक्रेसी का.
So that was Imran Khan clearly saying that he accepts the court's verdict, but of course he's not. He's sad by what the court has said. There was a debate in Pakistan whether the court has transgressed into its limits and gone into the domain of parliament, or whether the parliamentary supremacy. There was talk about that also, but in the end, the voting did take place. due to the intervention of the court. And Shehbaz Sharif, who will be now voted as the Prime Minister, will be the outcome of that process. So that is the situation on the ground in Pakistan. The voting still taking place. The votes will be counted, and then Shehbaz Sharif will officially be the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So clearly, Imran Khan, the outgoing Prime Minister, he has been Prime Minister for Pakistan for 3.5 years. There have been he is always giving interviews to journalists, to foreign journalists, to he's very media friendly. Now it seems it's not clear that how will the new government deal with so many issues that are at hand. Of course, the issues of economy, the price rise, and inflation. And it will also be interesting to see how Imran Khan goes here on. How does he it seemed that he already fallen with the establishment. Will he be able to mend bridge with the establishment once again? Remember, it's not long before the new elections will be announced. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is still the largest party in Pakistan. Imran Khan has 155 members, which is more than the combined strength of Nawaz Sharif's and Zardari's party. So clearly, it's a big force, but they have not resigned. There was also a theory that Imran Khan and all his members would resign. That would have given open floor to Shehbaz Sharif. Perhaps Imran Khan had sensed that, and they have not resigned. So, if they have to make any change as far as NAB and other agencies are concerned, they will have to take the consultation of the opposition as well. Imran Khan will be in opposition now. Uh, so clearly, that is the situation on the ground. It's never been easy. It's never been like a consensus in Pakistan when Imran Khan was the prime minister. There was hardly any consensus between him and the opposition parties. They would not even shake hands. Imran Khan and Shehbaz Sharif, he would say that he won't have any sort of association for people who, according to him, had robbed his country. But now, when he's on the other side, when he's the opposition, will Imran Khan and his party make it easy for the new government, or they would give it tough time? Clearly, that remains to be seen. But for now, Imran Khan has already started his preparations for the next elections with the narrative of this foreign conspiracy that he has drummed all these days, and he's going to public with that. Of course, that will be his main plank, and opposition parties who had been in opposition for so long, they have a tough job ahead of them. Pakistan's economy and systems, which are in a bad shape, they need to set them right and also prepare for the next election. All along, they had been saying that they want uh, they want fresh elections, but now they have a chance to be in power before they go into election. Since morning, opposition was insisting that they want to have this vote. Now it's come after many hours. They have to wait for the whole day for this voting to take place. The morning started with Shehbaz Sharif saying that the voting should be allowed to oust, according to him, the selected prime minister. This is what he had to say.
मैं समझता हूं जनाब स्पीकर के परसों पाकिस्तान की तारीख में एक ताबनाक दिन था जब अदालत उज़्मा ने आपके गैर आइनी इक़दाम को, प्राइम मिनिस्टर इमरान खान के गैर आइनी इक़दाम को, डिप्टी स्पीकर के गैर आइनी इक़दाम को कलअदम करार दिया और नज़रिया ज़रूरत का सहारा नहीं लिया, बल्कि नज़रिया ज़रूरत को हमेशा के लिए दफन कर दिया और पाकिस्तान का मुस्तकबिल ताबनाक बना दिया। इसके लिए हम सब, पूरी कौम अल्लाह ताला के यहाँ सर्वसजूद है और मैं इसके लिए पूरी जो मुतअद्दिदा अपोजिशन की क़यादत को, पार्लियामान के इन सैकड़ों मेंबरान को और पूरी कौम को मैं सलाम पेश करता हूं कि जिनकी जद्दोजहद के नतीजे में ये दिन आज कौम को देखना नसीब हुआ। जनाब स्पीकर, मैं गुजारिश करना चाहता हूं कि आज जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो हुक्म है, जो ऑर्डर है, आप आज उसके ताबे आप हाउस की कार्रवाई चलाएंगे, इसलिए कि आज ये पार्लियामान एक नई तारीख रकम करने जा रहा है। आज ये पार्लियामान आईनी और कानूनी तरीके से एक सिलेक्टेड वजीर आज़म को शिकस्त फाश देने जा रहा है। जनाब स्पीकर, मैं आपको ये अर्ज करना चाहता हूं, जनाब स्पीकर,
Order in the house, please. Order in the house, please. Order in the house, please.
मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूं कि खुदारा आज आप जो माजी में हो गया, आज आप आइन और कानून और अदालत उज़्मा के फैसले के लिए खड़े हो जाएं। आज आप सही मानों में स्पीकर का किरदार अदा करके तारीख में सुनहरे हरूफ पे नाम लिखा लें। ये मौका, it is a moment. You must catch this moment with your conviction, with your heart and your mind. Don't go by the dictation of selected prime minister. मेरी आपसे दस्तबस्ता अर्जी है और मैं आपको अब जो असल मकसद की तरफ आ रहा हूँ। जनाब स्पीकर, इनको आप चुप कराएं, मैं आपसे मुखातिब हूँ।
So that was Shehbaz Sharif earlier in the day. He was the first person to speak in the National Assembly, and then Shah Mahmood Qureshi was the Foreign Minister of Imran Khan government. He spoke. The House was adjourned many times, but finally the voting did take place, and opening the way for Shehbaz Sharif to be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. Now, clearly, after the day settles, it will be important to see that what happens here on. Remember, Nawaz Sharif's party wanted early election, but Pakistan People's Party, which has a government in Sindh, was, according to media reports, insisting that they would want to be in power for some time, and that's what's exactly happened. Now they are all together, joint opposition party. They have come together, and in a vote of no confidence motion, they have removed Imran Khan. The votes are still to be counted, but of course, it's just a formality now. They had all the numbers. The opposition had succeeded to keep its flock together. In fact, they had been successful to get support people from Imran Khan's party to their fold as well, and his allies also. Now it is all the parties together and Imran Khan's party which is on the other side. Uh, how is it going to work here on will be important. Of course, Imran Khan will not be giving an easy time to the next government, as he has said that he does not accept an imported government. He's already started calling them an imported government. So clearly, after the dust settles, there will be real challenge for Shehbaz Sharif and his new government, who would be the president of Pakistan. That would also be interesting. But also importantly, will there be further action taken on what has happened last Sunday? The motion was disallowed, uh, and then the assembly was dissolved, and then the court intervened, and then the assembly was reinstated. Uh, it's not clear. Perhaps there will be some action taken against the speaker and the deputy speaker of the Imran Khan government. So that would be very interesting to watch. But for now, the real focus is on Imran Khan. On the voting is Fawad Chaudhry in a tweet: "Sad day for Pakistan. Return of looters. A good man sent home." Now, of course, Imran Khan and his party had been critical of the court's judgment earlier, and now his minister saying that it's a sad day for Pakistan. Imran Khan himself has said he has given a call to his people to come out on the roads and to do a peaceful protest on Sunday. He said that he will be a part of those protests. So clearly, he's gone back to his agitational politics. That was one of his main plank before he came to power. Those long marches and those dharnas, and perhaps he's back to those agitational politics days. So that would be another challenge for the new government, of course, to maintain law and order in the country. Interestingly, it will be interesting to watch what happens to the army chief, because his term will end in November, and then will he be given another extension? Will elections be held till November? Now, Election Commission of Pakistan, its representative had gone to the court when the Supreme Court was hearing the case, and he told the court that he would not be able to conduct the elections till October. According to the Constitution of Pakistan, if the assembly is dissolved, then elections have to be held in 3 months. So already there's a window of 6 months given by the Election Commission. They say that they have to do delimitation in parts of Karachi, and that would take some time. So there is still some time for this government before a caretaker setup takes over, and then there will be fresh elections. But clearly, the lines seem to be drawn for now. Imran Khan has built his narrative around this foreign conspiracy issue, and uh, he's gone to the people, and the Shehbaz Sharif, Zardari, Bilawal Bhutto, all of them have been able to form the government. And in fact, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who had said about this foreign conspiracy, was very vocal in the assembly today. This is what he had to say.
ये भी मैं रिकॉर्ड पे लाना चाहता हूं कि नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कमेटी का फोरम एक आला तरीन फोरम है जिसमें हुकूमत के सीनियर तरीन वज़रा और अफवाज पाकिस्तान की नुमाइंदगी होती है। उस फोरम में वो मरासला जिसका जिक्र हो रहा है कौम में, और उस पर भी बात करना चाहूंगा मैं, उसकी बाज गश्त है, तूल अर्ज उसकी बाज गश्त है। जनाबे वाला, जब नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कमेटी उसी मरासले को, उस कम्युनिकेशन को, उस केबल को, उस साइफर को देखती है, तो वो इस नतीजे पे पहुंचती है कि मसला संगीन है, मसला हसास है, और दो ऑर्डर करती है। There are two decisions, and I like to put those decisions in front of the House. One, they acknowledge there was political interference in the internal matters of Pakistan, and a demarche must be issued. दफ्तर खारजा को हुक्म दिया जाता है, इंस्ट्रक्ट किया जाता है कि डिमाश करो, इस्लामाबाद में भी करो, वॉशिंगटन में भी करो, और जनाबे वाला नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कमेटी के फैसले के मुताबिक दफ्तर खारजा डिमाश करता है, इस्लामाबाद में भी करता है और वॉशिंगटन में भी करता है। दूसरा फैसला सादर करता है नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कमेटी का इजलास कि पार्लियामान की जो नेशनल सिक्योरिटी कमेटी है फिलफौर उसको तलब किया जाए, उसको कन्वीन किया जाए, और ये सारा मामला मुंतखब नुमाइंदों को, ये सॉवरेन हाउस है, ये अवाम जो है, ये पाकिस्तान की अवाम की तर्जुमानी कर रहा है, तो उनके उस फोरम के सामने रखा जाए कि वो बात की बारीकी तक जाएं और प्रोब करें और हकायक जानने की कोशिश करें। आप इजलास बुलाते हैं, ऑपोजिशन को दावत दी जाती है, ऑपोजिशन का फर्ज था। जनाब स्पीकर,
That was Shah Mahmood Qureshi earlier in the day speaking in the National Assembly. The voting is still taking place, and after the votes are passed, the votes will be counted, and then, of course, Shehbaz Sharif will then formally be elected by all these members as their leader and the leader of the house. Now, we're also getting news that Chief Justice of Pakistan and judges have left Supreme Court. Now, they had opened the Supreme Court in the night and they were waiting there. Probably, if the voting would not have taken place, they would have started contempt proceedings against Speaker and others. But the voting did indeed take place in the nick of the time before the day ended. Of course, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker resigned, and then there was a new Speaker that was brought in who is conducting the proceedings right now. So clearly, the crisis that had hit Pakistan over the last 1 week seems to be settling now. For now, with the voting taking place now, this voting was held up for 1 week with Imran Khan really, uh, not allowing the voting to take place after the Speaker disallowed the motion, and then the Supreme Court's intervention, and now voting taking place. There are happy faces in the National Assembly of Pakistan. Clearly, it's a big day for them, uh, but also to Nawaz Sharif's party and Zardari's party. None of their members had defected. In fact, they were, despite being in opposition, they were successful in keeping their flock together. So obviously now uh, there are there will be celebrations at some places. There will be protests at other places. There are some of the visuals. If we can raise the audio. Okay, these were not celebrations. Perhaps they were uh, PTI supporters who were just outside the parliament. Remember, PTI, Imran Khan's party, has presence in all the provinces of Pakistan. It's still the largest party with 155 members, and Imran Khan has always been a crowd puller. So obviously, there are also there could be law and order issues. Though Imran Khan has told his supporters to come out and to protest peacefully, but there could be some law and order issues, and that could be another challenge for the new government. So voting still taking place. It will be a while before the process is completed and the votes are uh, counted. But clearly, a day of dramatic developments in Pakistan. It started with uh, with uh, Shehbaz Sharif standing up and giving a speech, and it was assumed that that voting would take place shortly after that. But the strategy of the government was to drag it on and to keep focusing on the foreign conspiracy angle through the day until the voting took place just minutes before the day ended. Of course, only after the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker had resigned. Remember, there was a vote of no confidence motion against the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker as well, that was moved by the opposition parties. So also clearly, they were both the government and the opposition parties were giving surprises to each other. But perhaps the biggest surprise was by Imran Khan when the no confidence motion was disallowed. But with the intervention of court, all of that was reversed, and that brought back Shehbaz Sharif and the opposition into picture, and that really paved way for the voting to take place, which has now taken place in the middle of the night. The voting is taking place, and now the votes will be counted. Of course, the process was started uh, just a few minutes before the end of the day, so that the court's directions are adhered to, and there will be uh, now there will be counting that will be taking place now before Shehbaz Sharif is formally elected as the leader of the House. He gets the majority. Now, 172 is the number that is needed, but of course, it will be Nawaz Sharif's party, it will be Zardari's party, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, another prominent politician, his party, allies of Imran Khan, and some defectors of Imran Khan's party. So, so they will all come together. But Imran Khan's members of Imran Khan's party all throughout the day were talking of parliamentary supremacy. They say that the judiciary has interfered in the proceedings of the parliament. Prominently, one of the ministers of Imran Khan government who raised this issue was Asad Umar. Let's hear what he said earlier in the day.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट की हमारी बड़ी इज्जत है, हमारे जमहूरी निजाम का एक बहुत अहम सुतून है। 3 हिस्से हैं हमारे जमहूरी निजाम के अंदर, मुकन्ना है, अदलिया है और हमारी इंतजामिया है, हुकूमत है। इन तीनों का बड़ा अहम किरदार है। लेकिन स्पीकर साहब, हमारे आइन के अंदर बड़ा वाज़े लाइन भी खींची हुई है कि हर इदारे ने किस लाइन के अंदर रहते हुए काम करना है। आप एक कानून को, आइन को मानने वाले इंसान हैं, इसलिए आपने फैसला किया कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो ऑर्डर लिखा आपने उसकी कंप्लायंस कर दी। लेकिन अगर वाकई में ये सब लोग मानने वाले हैं जमहूरियत के, तो पार्लियामान की सुप्रीमेसी को भी मानने वाले हैं। अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट यह भी फैसला करेगी कि किस दिन इजलास होगा, किस मिनट पे शुरू होगा, तो इस पार्लियामान का क्या फायदा? पैसा बचाएं, इसको रैप अप करें और घर भेजते हैं। चले हम उनकी 1 मिनट के लिए बात मान लेते हैं कि जो डिप्टी स्पीकर ने फैसला किया वो अच्छा फैसला नहीं था। लेकिन क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट में और अदलिया में तमाम फैसले अच्छे होते? क्या इसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ पाकिस्तान के फैसलों को जुडिशियल मर्डर नहीं कहा गया?
That was Asad Umar talking about parliamentary supremacy. The voting is still taking place. Obviously, it will be a while till all the members cast their votes, and then there will be counting. They will go back to their seats, and then there will be counting, and the picture will be clear that how many votes have been cast in favor of the motion. And of course, it's the opposition which had to show the numbers because it's a motion for vote of no confidence. So they had to show the numbers. They had to prove that they have 172 or more than 172 members. So we'll have to wait and watch to see exactly how many votes are cast in their favor. But clearly, that's the situation now. Imran Khan has left his house in a helicopter. Obviously, he lives in a different house. He lives in Benigala, so he must be going from his prime minister's official residence to his house on the helicopter. That's another news that's coming in. So obviously, he will have to vacate prime minister's house now, and that's probably what he has done. So that's the situation on the ground. The voting has taken place. Now people are still there standing, and after the voting, the votes will be counted, and then the speaker will declare the results. So clearly, a big day for all these parties who had been on the vote of no confidence motion for all these days. You can see from that helicopter, Imran Khan leaving the Prime Minister's house, probably going to his own residence. So that's the Imran Khan obviously will no more the Prime Minister of Pakistan after Shehbaz Sharif is voted in. So clearly his term for more than 3 years has now come to an end, and you can see the voting is still taking place. All these members are there. It will take a while till the voting happens and the votes are counted, and then there will be results, the final results that will be declared. But clearly, a day of dramatic developments in Pakistan. In fact, the last 1 week of dramatic developments in Pakistan, even before that. But the last week has been absolutely dramatic since that vote of no confidence motion was not accepted, and then there was a series of events that followed one after the other. In the last cabinet meeting that Imran Khan took at the Prime Minister's residence, he has in fact declassified that letter, and sent copies of that letter to the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and to the Chief Justice of Pakistan. Of course, he said that there is a cipher code earlier in his speech, and that letter cannot be made public, which is a code which will obviously it's a secret code. But he needed a cabinet approval to declassify it, which he has done, and that is why the letter has gone to these prominent personalities of Pakistan. And now the situation is that the voting is taking place. It's still underway, and then the results will be declared. It will be a while till the results are declared, and now probably there is some activity taking place. The speaker is seated, uh, and that's here.
ये हो गया कंप्लीट जी 2 मिनट के लिए घंटियां बजाइए ताकि ऑनरेबल मेंबरान अंदर हाउस में तशरीफ ले आए आने दीजिए मेंबरान को अंदर मेंबरान तशरीफ अंदर ले आए 2 मिनट की घंटियां बजती हैं आप तशरीफ ले आइए यार ये देख
Okay, the counting is now taking place. The voting has already. Now, 2 minutes have been given by the speaker to the members to go back to their seats, and then obviously the results will be declared. Clearly, you see very happy faces there, very jubilant members. They have, in fact, uh, voted something that they waited for all these days, particularly today, since morning. And now the votes have been cast and the counting is taking place. Remember, 172 is the number, is the magic number that is needed to prove that you have the majority of the house with you. And that is what all these parties together will do now. And they've already nominated Shehbaz Sharif as their prime ministerial candidate. So clearly, we'll have to wait to see exactly how many votes they got. They always had the numbers right from the beginning. It was one-sided. Imran Khan would always say that he will play till the last ball and till the last hour. But it was very clear since the beginning that opposition had the numbers and Imran Khan didn't have the numbers. So perhaps it was the surprise that was on his mind that he will obviously disallow, the motion will be disallowed, and that will bring an end to it. But that did not happen. The Supreme Court did intervene. Perhaps he would have thought that that would not be the case. So now we're seeing Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf people out on the roads. They are holding the flags of PTI. So Imran Khan has, over the past few days, according to some reports, gained a lot of popularity in Pakistan by this narrative. Will he be able to sustain this till the elections, or will it just fizzle out? That remains to be seen. But clearly, for the opposition, the challenge has just started. After coming to power, they will face the real test, the test of keeping the flock together. Coalition politics will not be so easy, particularly for parties which have been bitter rivals of each other for all these years. And then it's a short term for a few months before the next caretaker government takes over and the elections will be announced. So interesting political developments taking place in Pakistan. We saw all that happening today in the House. Now, finally, it has extended to another day. It did not The entire process did not complete on the stipulated day, but it did go to the next day. But now, finally, the voting has taken place and the counting is underway. All the members have been told by the Speaker to go back to their seats, and we will have results very shortly. So we also reports that PTI members outside Parliament House, there have been protests. Of course, Imran Khan had told his workers to protest, but protest peacefully. Now PTI members outside Parliament House are protesting. It's the police personnel removing the PTI supporters who had come there in support of their leader, who has now been removed in a vote of no confidence, and the results will be declared shortly. So that will be another challenge for the new government to keep peace in Pakistan. Of course, Imran Khan will go back to his agitational politics, and then perhaps uh, it will be a, it will be a big challenge to maintain law and order. Imran Khan's party is a big party; it's still the biggest party in Pakistan, which has presence in all the provinces of Pakistan. Remember, Imran Khan is still the government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Gilgit-Baltistan, and he is a coalition government in Balochistan, and is still a government in Punjab. Though Shehbaz Sharif's son, his son Hamza Sharif, is obviously he is also fighting it out with the PTI, and again, in all possibility, he will be able to form the government there in Punjab also. That's another story, the twists and turns that are taking place there. But you can see from those visuals, these are PTI supporters just outside the Parliament House. They've been moved away by the police, and obviously it's a big setback for them that the leader has been removed as the prime minister of the country in a vote of no confidence, uh, and it's a sad day for them, but clearly happy faces and a day of victory for the members on the other side of the line who have come together, who have been together in this vote of no confidence, and they joined all their forces and strength, and now they have reached the point of voting and counting, and it's just a matter of time when the results will be announced, and the speaker will announce the results, and that will mark an end to this process. But clearly, Fawad Chaudhry, again, his tweet we're putting up says, "Sad day for Pakistan, return of looters, a good man sent home." Now, Imran Khan has been very uh, he's always said that these opposition uh, leaders had looted the country, they had their wealth stashed abroad, and that was his narrative. Basically, he is always focused on corruption, but now there's a shift in his narrative. It would not just be corruption, but foreign conspiracy angle also. It will be interesting to see what further will happen on the issue of this latter. Will there will be a commission which will be ordered? Imran Khan had in fact ordered a commission just yesterday, and but the person who was supposed to head the commission, he had in fact not he had said that he would not be able to do those perform those services. So I don't know. In the review petition, according to media reports, that was to be filed by the Imran Khan government, was not accepted by the Supreme Court today. So so the scenes outside Parliament, scenes inside Parliament. Well, outside Parliament we saw protests, protesters being removed by the police, and inside Parliament we're seeing celebrations by the members. So this is a picture of contrast. Well, on one hand there is jubilation, on the other hand there's a sense of defeat, and you can see people shaking hands. Shehbaz Sharif uh, clearly there in the house, shaking hands with the members. It's a big day for him. He had been the Chief Minister of Punjab many times. His brother Nawaz Sharif has been the Prime Minister, 3 times Prime Minister of Pakistan, and now it's the turn of Shehbaz Sharif to be the Prime Minister.
Tashrif rakhiye. Silence, please. Order in the House. Order in the House. Order in the House. Please tashrif rakhiye. Please tashrif rakhiye. जी प्लीज तशरीफ रखें. ऑर्डर इन द हाउस. रिजल्ट कंपाइल हो गया. आई नीड टू अनाउंस इफ यू काइंडली टेक योर सीट्स. प्लीज तशरीफ रखें ताकि कार्रवाई शुरू हो सके, आगे चल सके. ये गैलरी में तशरीफ रखें. गैलरी में तशरीफ रखें. गैलरी में तशरीफ रखें. जी प्लीज तशरीफ रखें. प्लीज गैलरीज में से प्लीज यार इनको चुप कराइए. प्लीज जी काइंडली तशरीफ रखें. तशरीफ रखें. यार ये प्लीज तशरीफ रखें. ये कार्रवाई चल नहीं सकेगी अगर आप लोग लॉबीज में से, अगर आप लोग गैलरीज में से आवाज निकालेंगे, शोर करेंगे, कार्रवाई नहीं चल सकेगी. आप चाहते हैं कि आपको बाहर भेज दिया जाए? तशरीफ रखें, नहीं तो मजबूर होंगे आपको बाहर भेजने के लिए. प्लीज. रिजल्ट कंपाइल हो गया है. आई नीड टू अनाउंस द रिजल्ट्स. प्लीज तशरीफ रखें. 174 members have recorded their votes. One, Tashrif Rakhe, 174 members have recorded their votes in favor of the resolution. Consequently, the resolution for vote of no confidence against Mr. Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, has been passed by a majority of the total membership of the National Assembly. आज प्लीज तशरीफ रखें ऑर्डर इन द हाउस। आज पाकिस्तान की ऑपोजिशन के सारे कायदीन यहाँ बैठे हैं और शिद्दत से मियां नवाज शरीफ साहब की कमी महसूस हो रही है। Now, I will request the leader of, I cannot say leader of the opposition anymore. So I would request Mr. Shahbaz Sharif Sahab to kindly speak on this occasion.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Janabe Chairman.
Order in the house, please.
आज हम सब तमाम कायदीन, तमाम मेंबरान कौमी असम्बली, मुतहद्दा अपोजिशन के तमाम हमारे साथी बुजुर्ग भाई और बहन, हम सब अल्लाह ताला के हजूर सर्वसजूद हैं और उसका जितना भी शुक्र अदा करे कम है कि आज एक नई सुबह तुलू होने वाली है, एक नया दिन आने वाला है और
the 174 votes in favor of the no confidence motion. So Shehbaz Sharif will be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. The Speaker saying that he misses, the House misses Nawaz Sharif at this point in time, and Shehbaz Sharif says that it's a new dawn in Pakistan. So the political drama that had unfolded in Pakistan over the last few days finally coming to an end with voting on no confidence motion taking place. That brings Shehbaz Sharif in the picture as next Prime Minister of Pakistan. Remember, 172 was the magic number. They got 174 votes. It's a thin majority, a slender majority, a slim majority, but nevertheless, they have come together and they have proved their majority, and Shehbaz Sharif is going to be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan. This brings us to the end of the special transmission on the political developments, the drama that was taking place in the Pakistani National Assembly and outside of Assembly, and it ended with the vote of no confidence voting taking place, and Shehbaz Sharif being selected as the next Prime Minister. Of course, there will be procedures that will happen now, but of course, the next Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, saying that it's a new dawn in his country. Thanks so much for watching.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.